Welcome back to Off the Cuff. Knuckles here with you. We just had a fine talk with Mac Pacioretty. Hopefully things work out for him, but we're going to switch over from hockey and no contract to golf and someone finally looking like he just may be on track again. And we're going to talk to my good friend I haven't talked in so long, Mark Zecchino. How are you, Mark?
Good to hear your voice, Knuckles. Welcome back. I knew when Labor Day flipped over that it would be any day now that I knew we'd be connecting on golf because I know how much you love it, and we're in the Cup season, right? We're going to hand out 2 big cups in the next 3-4 weeks, a FedEx Cup and a Ryder Cup, so I know you're probably pumped to see the end of this golf season unfold.
Yes, I am. That's for sure. And yesterday, Tiger Woods opens with a 29, his first 9, and he's given a lot of credit to his putter. He switched back to his Scotty Cameron. Listen, the putter, we know how big it is, but he got to keep putting the ball in the fairway.
Yeah, and the driver has gotten better, and it's a shame because, today the golf course is playing very different. And, we're not seeing those 62s out there. And there are some good scores. There were some rounds of 64 and whatnot, but it's a much different golf course today than it was in Thursday. And at one point, Tiger Woods, had it to double digits under par, and just a horrible finish today. Or, he would have been right there just a couple shots off the lead again. So, but you're right. Part of the big difference over the last couple of weeks is the fact that, he's found the fairway. He went back to an old shaft that he used to use and an old driver, felt comfortable. They added some loft to his golf club, which took some spin off of his drives. And all of a sudden now, he's hitting 9 out of 14, 10 out of 14, 11 out of 14 fairways. The game's a lot easier from the short grass, as you know.
Yeah. Now, last week, in watching the tournament, and Dechambeau has obviously been on a tear, but one guy that really caught my eye, and I was surprised because he's been in a funk. I don't know where he's been, and it's Keegan Bradley. And he's in the hunt there on Sunday, and then Monday rolls around, and it's like the wheels. No, that wasn't. It was the week before, and the wheels fell off on him. What happened there? He battled his way back, and then boom, just the next day it was horrendous.
For me, Knuckles, I think what happens there, and I'm not in his shoes, and I don't know what he's feeling, but you see this quite often with guys that it's been a long time since they've been in that position.
Yeah.
They've been off our radar for 2 or 3 years, probably fought some demons. We know with Keegan Bradley, it was all about the putter demons. He used to use that anchored belly putter, and the day that was outlawed, his career went the other direction, and has finally started to find some confidence and get his game back. But I think there's a real difference between trying to find your game back and playing off the radar and trying to, out of the spotlight on a Thursday and Friday and trying to work your way back versus all of a sudden having opportunities to win golf tournaments again and being around on the weekend. And that's what we've seen the last couple of months from Keegan Bradley, his name popping up all of a sudden. We're all like, where is this coming from? And I think you have to get comfortable with being back in that position. To a certain degree, Knuckles, we saw it with Tiger earlier this year, right, where he couldn't play when he was around the lead. He could only play when he was chasing from the back, and when he got around the lead or in the spotlight on a Saturday or Sunday, he almost looked uncomfortable in his skin because it's been so long since he's been there. It wasn't until we got to the Open Championship in Britain where it started to finally look like, okay, he wants to be in the Boilermaker on the weekend at a big tournament. He can handle this now. He's ready for it. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what we're seeing with Keegan Bradley. Like, there's going to be a process. If this is going to continue, this process is going to continue to get better for him, then he needs to eventually get to a point again where, okay, I'm comfortable in this position, and I expect to be here. I want to be here.
When we look at the FedEx Cup standings and we talk about number of wins this year, I'm looking at the Dustin Johnson had 3, Justin Thomas had 3, Bubba Watson had 3, Brooks Koepka 2, Justin Rose 2, and then I see Bryson Dechambeau, he had 3, but his 3 came in the last 2 months of the season, no?
Well, certainly the last 2, right, back to back. The first one came The first one came at the Memorial, which is in May. Yes, the Memorial Tournament in May at Jack Nicklaus's house.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went cold turkey. He had a horrible summer. And really rough time over in Europe where he had a chance to win on the European Tour and blew it, and then was really struggling at the Open Championship. On the range, it looked like his head was going to explode at the Open Championship. And out of nowhere, he just went on a tear and found this. And I think this is all, I'm not trying to belittle at all the FedEx Cup and the importance of the FedEx Cup and how bad these guys want to win. I'm not trying to do that whatsoever. But I think this all stems from Bryson DeChambeau just having a burning desire to be a part of the Ryder Cup team. I think he wants to be part of the Ryder Cup team more than anything, and I think he realized that if he didn't win, then that wasn't going to happen, that he needed to at least win once. And, well, he won twice and made it impossible not to pick him. And I really think that's where this came from. He said, well, I want that more than anything, and the only way that happens is if I'm a winner.
Well, Justin Rose, to me, looks like a guy who's on a tear and might be standing at the end, at the top of this whole thing. I'm hoping anyway. I love this guy. He's got a great attitude. Justin Rose, he's in the hunt here. He's creeping up the leaderboard. And what do you think? Rosie going to go for it?
Well, Knuckles, is there a guy more consistent? Probably not, right? He always plays well. Right? Very rarely do you see him miss a cut. I know he missed one a couple weeks back, and when he missed the cut, we all looked at each other and our jaws dropped to the floor like, where did that come from? And, of course, the next week he comes right back the next week and has a chance to win. The question with Justin Rose is always going to be the same. The difference between playing great and having top fives and top threes and winning is usually putting. That's usually the difference. And if there's one Achilles heel to Justin Rose's career on the PGA Tour, and there hasn't been many because he's won a lot, he's a U.S. Open champion, but if you're wondering why there isn't more major wins or why there isn't more, I guess, bigger spotlight wins, it's usually because he just doesn't make enough putts come the weekend. And that will be the case. It'll be all come down to the putter for Justin Rose. If Justin Rose putts well, he has an opportunity to win every week. He's that good. His ball striking is as good or better than anybody on the PGA Tour. And just sometimes it just looks like that putter just abandons him to the point where, I just can't imagine how frustrating that would be. I can't imagine what it would be like to be like in the top 20 of every ball striking category on the planet for the majority of my career. And just have this one aspect of the game kind of be the one that holds you back the most. And I'm not saying he hasn't had a great career and he's not one of the best players in the world, because he is and he has. But you got to think at some point Justin Rose has got to win more than just one major in his career. So that's what we're all waiting for.
Help me understand it. What has happened to my boy Jordan Spieth?
Well, I have a saying, Knuckles, and I think good putting bleeds through the bag and bad putting bleeds through the bag. And when you're making putts and you're one of the best putters in the world the way Jordan Spieth was, everything feels good. The air smells better, the wine tastes better, the cup looks larger, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden when those putts that you used to make and take for granted stop going in and you start fighting the little ones, you can do it for a short period of time and you can come back from it. We're about a year now into this. And now the putting has started to come back a bit recently. If you look at his stats over the last 2-3 months, the putter has not been that bad. But I think he fought it for so long. We're talking almost a year of watching his putting start to chip away at him. Eventually, you start second-guessing everything. It affects your long game. It affects your short game around the green. It really decays everything you've been able to build and accomplish. And there's nothing worse for a professional golfer or a high-level golfer of any kind. There's nothing worse than sitting there from 160 yards and having the thought in your head saying, well, I have to hit this inside 5 feet. If I don't hit this inside 5 feet, I have no chance. That's just way too much pressure. You can't play the game that way, and eventually it affects you.
Okay, so should be interesting to see who's standing at the end of the weekend, who goes into the Tour Championship. I can't wait to see that next week. How's Friday? We talk to you next week?
Actually, next week, I am off the grid because the PGA Tour goes dark next week, right? It's an off week, so we're 2 weeks away. And I am taking my wife to Ireland for her 40th birthday.
Good for you. You're going to play golf. You're going to play golf.
Honestly, Knuckles, I've been to Ireland 3 times for golf. One of my favorite places in the world to play golf. Absolutely love it. North, south, all over the place. But I promised my wife, no clubs, no golf, no nothing.
Good for you.
Just doing the Ireland thing, and we're going to have a good time, get a little recharge, because when I get home, as you know, we're into 2 big weeks of Tour Championship, Ryder Cup, Web.com Tour Final. So when I'm home, I'll fire you. We'll set something up for Tour Championship week.
Good enough. Listen, enjoy Ireland, and thank you for taking the time today. I appreciate it, Mark.
Anytime, Knuckles. Good to hear you again, my friend.
All right, good to hear you too. Thank you so much. Mark Zecchino from Golf Talk Canada joining us here once again. He will join us for the Tour Championship and the Ryder Cup. The Tour Championship, September 20th to the 23rd, and then the Ryder Cup, 28th. It starts. I cannot wait.